Welcome back to the Polarity Plunge YouTube channel. I'm your host, Jake Daybell, owner of Polarity Plunge, co-owner with my wife, Rachel, and host of this channel. I wanted to talk again today about something that we've talked about before on an episode, which is somatic therapy. I talked a little bit about what it is, but on this video, I wanted to talk more about why it's so important and why it's proving to be so beneficial for us Westerners, for us in America. It's a modality, somatics, that is newer here. It is actually really, really ancient, and there's a lot of different ways in which it has been practiced for thousands of years. But for us, in our context, our cultural context, it's something that is new. There's a revolution right now happening in holistic health, and it's coming back. And I'll get people that will either come in or call in and ask about, on our website, you'll see somatics session, and have no idea what it is. So to give you a brief, like I did on the last video, a brief description of what it is. Soma is body. Somatic experiencing, somatic practice, somatic therapy is dropping into the body through movement, through our felt sense perception, through breathing, really dropping into our body and using the intelligence of our body, the wisdom of our body to then heal the mind. There are emotions, there are thoughts, there is energy that gets stuck within our body. And so somatic therapy is a way to free us of all of this stuck energy and these emotions and these thoughts that weigh down on us, that cause us tension, that cause us resistance in our mind and in our body. So it's really, somatics is about the mind-body connection. How our mind affects the body, our body can then affect our mind, and we can consciously direct our body to then heal our mind, which we talked about in the last video, gave a bunch of resources, our last somatic therapy video. So I won't ramble too much about that, about what it is, but that's what it is in a nutshell. Now, why is it so important for us as Westerners, as Americans? Why can it be so beneficial? In our paradigm, in our culture, we are very logical. We are very rational. We are very cranial in our heads, and our healthcare system, our education system, all of our systems, all of our culture is structured in a way to be, because, and there's a whole history of why this is this way, why us in the West are like this. Won't get into the whole history. But needless to say, where we're at right now is we're very much in our heads and cranial, and that is not necessarily a bad thing. It's actually our superpower. Our superpower is to be very intellectual. Our superpower is to be able to express ourselves verbally and use this power of the mind. And all of our science, all of our healthcare, everything is tailored to this, right? To diagnoses, to the brain science. And now technology is catching up that it's actually revealing so much about brain science, so much that we never even knew and we never even believed. And one of the things that it is showing us, even in our brain science, is how we are somewhat out of balance when we're only focusing on the logical, rational part of us. Because there's this other part of us that is more of the feeling, more of the emotional creature, more of the primal, instinctual aspect of what it is to be human that has been completely ignored in our healthcare, in our education, in all of our systems, and even demonized in our religious systems as well. That this primal, this instinctual, this natural man is something that is not good and that is evil. And we really favored for a very long time, for hundreds of years, the logical, the rational man. instead of the emotional man and the feeling sense. And there's so many little tangents I could go on about this, but trying not to get too distracted, I'll sum up in just the forms of therapy in which we use. Because the Western mind is very logical and rational, what has been usually the go-to has been treating symptoms, talking about symptoms, because talking and expression is very much a rational, logical way of dealing with our problems is talk therapy, right? We're getting it all out, and we're analyzing it. We're analyzing it in our minds, and we're speaking into it, and we're rationalizing everything and logically trying to understand where these symptoms are coming from and how we can feel better in our body and in our minds, our mental health, our physical health. It's all very rational. And then there's prescriptions, right? Which is treating the systems, which is another topic as well of Western medicine. There's this other side, though, that is more just feeling our feelings, not necessarily talking about how we feel, and thinking about how we feel, but feeling about how we feel. And this is the purpose of somatic therapy. The reason why somatics really balances us out with our superpower of extreme intelligence and intellectualizing. That's a superpower. But we need this other balance of emotion, of felt sense perception, of feeling how we feel. And somatic therapy allows us to do this. Because at the end of the day, a lot of the things that hold us back, a lot of the limiting belief systems, a lot of the stuck emotions, a lot of the perspectives and paradigms that hinder our growth and our well-being, either in mental health or physical health, spiritual health, a lot of the times we can't even remember. Our rational, logical mind doesn't even have memory of it. And it's because from 0 to 7 years old, we are learning a lot, but we hardly remember what we actually learned. From 0 to 7 years old, our brains are in the state of theta, which isn't our normal waking day-to-day state that our brain is in. Theta is the state of absorption, where we're actually just absorbing energy. Our parents, for example, could say something to us, like, stop, you're so dumb, why did you do that? And instead of our logical minds understanding, I'm not actually dumb, he's just angry right now, we're actually absorbing that into our conscious and subconscious mind. Their thoughts are becoming our thoughts, their emotions are becoming our emotions, their belief systems about who we are and how the world is actually just being absorbed and becoming our belief systems. And this is formulating an identity. It might be formulating an identity for good or for bad, for things that serve us and for things that don't serve us. And so to get back into this identity, this subconscious or theta state in which a lot of these thoughts, emotions, belief systems are imprinted, we're not going to get there through talking because we can't even remember everything that went on, right? But we're going to be able to, through somatics, actually tap into, whether you want to say memories or just imprints, thoughts, emotions, belief systems, identity, imprinted into who we think we or feel we are. Somatic therapy is it. It's the answer. One of the answers. And it is something that is out of balance in our society today. This is why it's so important for us to know about somatic therapy and to experience it. And so the ways in which I do somatic therapy, there's a few different ways, but I do the therapeutic form of yoga. It's not like the yoga workout class. I do those, but it's more so through pranayama, which is breathing, breath work, and then through movement. So those are the two main ways of somatic therapy that we do here at Polarity Plunge, is movement and the breath, using movement in the form of different yoga practices that I have learned and that I use on myself and clients, different Tai Chi practices, different Qigong practices. So this is all Eastern medicine, and this is their system, where they don't have the superpower that we have in the Western mind of intellectualizing things. The Eastern world has the superpower of felt sense perception and dropping into the body and using the wisdom of the body and of the breath to heal, to release things that no longer serve us, and to empower us and to fortify actually our mind and our body. So, because they're connected, mind-body connection. Remember, somatics, mind-body connection. So that's a little bit, when you look on our website, you see somatic session. That's a little bit of what I offer. Whether you're dealing with a mental health battle or emotions, whether it's grief emotions, whether it's stress emotions, whether it's fear, these kind of chronic states that we can't seem to escape no matter how many hours of therapy and talking about it we put in, those kind of states is what somatic therapy is so good for releasing grief. There's a lot of Chinese medicine and movement, and there's a lot of yogic movement as well that I incorporate, and then breathing as well, really dropping into the body and creating a safer space within our body for us to be able to welcome in these emotions and then let go of these emotions and reclaim a different state, a different identity in how we think, feel, believe, and behave, right? So that's a little bit of what I do with somatics. And then my wife, which I'm going to have her film a video more about her holotropic breath work, her therapeutic breath work, which is just, it is a little bit of movement, but it's closing your eyes, it's laying down in our back room here, and it's actually breathing for 30, 40 minutes, and she's guiding you through an altered state of consciousness, because that breath work actually drops you back into theta, into that state of consciousness where you can access stuff that you can't necessarily remember, but you can feel emotions that may have been trapped, and you might not even remember the memories, but you'll be able to process things that your subconscious mind has stored. Oh, where things get stored, like what I mentioned, the 0 to 7 years old, you're in theta. Where things are getting stored, and this is the last thing I'll say, is in your body and is in your subconscious mind. So out of our conscious mind, out of our memory, out of our logical, out of our rationale, it's getting stored in our body and it's getting stored in our subconscious mind underneath. Breath work and somatic therapy, two of our pillars here at Polarity Plunge, are ways in which we can go directly to the source, to the root cause, and experience what it feels like to go into the body and go into the subconscious mind and free ourselves of things that may be holding us down, holding us back, or disrupting our health, happiness, our peace, our prosperity. So that's why somatic therapy is so important. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. And if you've got questions, comment in the video, DM me, book a session, somatic therapy, or book just even a contrast therapy session, the sauna cold plunges, and then we can meet and I can explain more to what this whole thing is even about. Anyways, much love, and please remember to keep smiling.